Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm just going to be explaining how I resistance train, what my workouts look like. So let's get into it. All right, so this is what it looks like for the week. This is a lower upper split. This is what I do. Okay, so Monday I do barbell back squat, then I go into a pause squat, and then I do a single leg variant, either a Bulgarian split squat or a barbell reverse lunge. Then Tuesday I do an overhead press, barbell standing up. Then I do weighted pull-ups, supersetting with those. Then I do an incline bench press with a barbell, and then I superset that with either a head or a chest supported row. Then I do curls with dumbbells, and then a push down, supersetting it on the cable with the rope or the bar. It doesn't matter. Wednesday I rest. Thursday, the third main lift of the week is the deadlift. I superset that with standing ab wheels. I do a single leg variant, which is a Bulgarian split squat or a barbell reverse lunge. No, typically I do a dumbbell Bulgarian split squat on deadlift day. Love doing those. Then I do a barbell row, superset with leg raises or a sit up, a decline, or an upside down sit up. Friday I do a bench press. So that's my fourth main lift of the week. And then I superset it with either a seated cable row or I do a supported row with either head or chest. Then I do a seated overhead press with dumbbells, and I superset those with weighted chin-ups. And then I do curls, hammer curls, typically on Friday, supersetted with tricep push down, again, either the rope or the bar. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so these four main lifts is really what I'm trying to build and get stronger with. Now, if you're watching this and you haven't really been working out, or maybe you're older, maybe you've been out of the game for a while, you're probably looking at this and going, I'm not going to squat. My squatting days are over. I'm not going to put stuff over my head. I'm not going to press a barbell over my head or do deadlifts. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? All of these movements are what's called basic human movement patterns, which means that you do these movements throughout your life as a human, whether you want to admit it or not. If you sit up and down out of a chair, okay, you go like this and you stand up, that is a squat. I just did a squat right there for you. If you press something over your head, you're putting, let's say, luggage in the overhead section on an airplane, or you're getting something out of a cabinet, you're putting something in a cabinet, or your kid's running toward you, you pick them up, you play with your children. That's an overhead press. If you pick something off the ground, congrats, you just did a deadlift or a row. If you get off the ground, you push yourself off the ground, that's a pushing movement, kind of like a bench press. Or you pull yourself up, that's a pull-up. These are all basic human movement patterns. Squat, deadlift, bench press, row, what else? Dips, pull-ups. These are all basic human movement patterns that you do throughout your life. So why not train them? Now, do you have to start with a barbell on your back for squats, especially with heavy weight? No, that's not what I'm saying. This workout is perfect for a lot of people. I would say anybody, male, female, regardless of age, because it's very fluid. And let me explain why. A squat. I do a barbell back squat because I'm a healthy 4-year-old. Okay, I'll be 25 soon. So I'm good to go on doing my squat. Now, I had to actually build up to that because I broke my leg in the past. So I actually had to build up to get comfortable with the barbell on my back. So what I did is I would do a hack squat. I would do some kind of variant of a squat. Right? I would actually, when I was injured, I was doing goblet squats, and then I built to the hack squat, and then now I'm on the barbell back squat. It was a progression. So what I'm saying, if you don't feel comfortable doing a barbell back squat, that's perfectly fine. Everybody starts somewhere. You might start just by doing regular body weight, then go to a goblet squat where you're holding a kettlebell or a dumbbell. Then you move forward to maybe a hack squat, right? You're using the machine. But you're doing some kind of squat variation is what I'm getting at. An overhead press, maybe you start with dumbbells. You don't need to go heavy. You're going at your own pace here. It's whatever you feel like is a comfortable weight for you. Dumbbells, maybe move up to the barbell, or maybe you using one of the machines. It's up to you. The deadlift, you could build yourself up to the deadlift. Maybe starting with hip thrust or another hinging movement, or maybe a different one of those machines where you have the back extension here and there's like a bar and you're kind of hip thrusting into the back extension into the pad there. Maybe doing a different hinging movement or doing Romanian deadlifts, because I do dead stop deadlifts, which means I drop the bar each rep. Okay? Maybe you do a Romanian deadlift where you keep it in the air and don't let it touch the deck. You don't, the floor, okay? A bench press, maybe you start with push-ups or you do dumbbells instead of just working your way to the barbell. What I'm getting at is that the fluidity in this workout routine is there. You can do different variants of those exercises. That's why I didn't write barbell back squat on it. I tried to make it for everybody. But you as a human being can do these patterns, and you should build up to it. You should. Because when you can't do this anymore, when you can't sit down anymore, you can't get up without somebody helping you, you're coming close to expiring. All right? Your muscle goes, you go. So everyone's worried about, we've been so focused on thinking that health was about cardio. The whatever his name is, Bob Harper or Rob Harper, the skinny guy from The Biggest Loser, eat less, move more, be a freaking rat on a treadmill. Skinny is in, skinny is out, brother. Skinny is out. And sister, it's out. Build muscle. Muscle is the organ of longevity. That's why I didn't even put cardio. I do cardio. I still go to the boxing gym 1-2 times a week. I still run at least 2 times a week, 2-3 times a week. I still do cardio, or I'll hit the Stairmaster on an incline on the treadmill after I lift. Because right now for me, strength training and building muscle is the most important thing. When I was 13 and probably up until 21-ish, right? 21-ish, I was big on cardio. Boxing, running. I could run 3 miles in 17 minutes. I was a cardio bunny. Being in the Marines is just your muscular endurance kind of thing. Cardio. That's what I was big at. So I took years of building my cardio before I moved on to this. Hence why I can still run 3 miles in 21 minutes. So don't listen. What this is bringing me to is that you have to focus on your strength. If you want to get good on it, you have to prioritize it. If somebody is telling you, because we got this hybrid, these high rocks or high rock, whatever. Oh, you could do both. This is my training split. Dude, if he looks jacked and he's selling a program that says that you could be just like him, you look like this and still run, he's lying to you, man. And here's why. He probably spent years training like a bodybuilder before he moved on to doing running and cardio and all that kind of stuff. Just like how I spent years building my run time to 17 minutes and having fantastic cardio before I started lifting, before I started doing something else and prioritizing that. So you're going to have to prioritize this. So this is the most important thing, is your strength when it comes to your health. If you don't want to be somebody who makes exercise their whole personality, you want to prioritize resistance training. It's going to give you the most longevity in your life. It's also what burns fat, because a lot of people think they have to do excessive cardio to burn fat. I mean, cardio helps. Don't get me wrong. Cardio is great. Cardio is fantastic, but it's secondary. Building muscle and eating foods that are going to boost your metabolism is what's going to burn fat faster. Building muscle is going to boost your resting metabolic rate, which is 60% of how you burn fat. Working out, your exercise activity thermogenesis is like 5-10% of what you actually burn fat. Okay, so hence why the people at The Biggest Loser, some of them took off all that weight, but a lot of them just gained it right back because they didn't address the issue of boosting their metabolism by building muscle and again, eating the right foods that actually boost their metabolism. But that's a different video. We're just talking about my workouts here. But this is the ideology behind it. Every human, whether you're a male, a female, regardless of your age, should train the basic human movement pattern. I don't think somebody who can't squat 135 pounds should be screwing off prioritizing a isolation workout or doing box jumps if he wants to get stronger. I think he should just do a squat. And also, if you look, there's not a lot of isolation workouts. I'm not training, again, you rarely use one body part when you're going throughout your day. You usually use multiple muscles to do certain activities throughout the day. Do these lifts, okay? Do these lifts. That would be my best recommendation to you. All right, so just to reiterate on what I said, this is a lower upper split. It's very fluid. You can pick what variant you want to do, but I want you to do some kind of variation of a squat, okay? On those pause squats, pretty much you go 2 seconds down, you hold for 2 seconds, you explode up with the barbell, okay? It should be easier after you're doing your squats, and I'll get into the actual sets and reps next on the next slide. That single leg variant, a Bulgarian split squat, or some kind of reverse barbell lunge, some kind of single leg work. Then your overhead press, remember I do a standing barbell, we could do a different variant. I superset it with the pull-ups. Supersetting is just doing exercises back to back with little breaks in between. So how you want to superset is you use different muscles on those exercises. So if you notice the overhead press, I use like pushing muscles. I'm using my shoulders, my triceps, my chest, my upper chest. I'm using those muscles to push. And then when I get into my pull-ups, I'm now using my biceps, I'm using my back. I'm using all the muscles in my back. So that's how you properly superset. You wouldn't, well, you could, right? Do an overhead press and then maybe some push-ups. But me personally, I think that's kind of redundant. I rather superset muscles that aren't just tired. Because if you did your overhead press right, your triceps should be kind of smoked. Your deltoid should be kind of smoked. You shouldn't be doing push-ups like willy-nilly right that if you did a true hard working set, okay? So you also don't need to superset. I do this for time management purposes. I like it. I enjoy it. I like to keep moving. I don't like being in the gym too long. 45 to an hour, that's kind of where I live. So that's why I superset, but you don't need to do that. You could do these all by themselves. That incline barbell press, again, you could do a chest press, or a dumbbell chest press, but try to go lighter and really feel the stretch in your upper chest. That's what I do. I go light on the barbell and I really focus on coming down, feel that stretch, and then just push it up. I don't go heavy. The heavy work is on those main lifts. The main lifts, the squat, the overhead press, the deadlift, the bench press, these lifts, that's your heavy work. The rest of the workout, I'm not saying should be easy. I'm not saying that at all. But your heavy work is kind of done for the rest of the workout. And then I do curls and push down, whatever. You could do whatever with that. I'm not very picky. Whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to do an easy bar, a straight bar, if you want to use the preacher curl machine or do preacher curls it's totally up to you. If you want to use a rope or a bar for the push down, or even if you want to do extensions instead, it's totally up to you. I don't care. For that deadlift, again, I do that dead stop deadlift, but again, any variant that we talked about, you could do that. A standing ab wheel, if you could work your way to a standing ab wheel, you have strong abs. That's kind of as long as I can do a standing ab wheel, I'm good to go. Like my abs are fine. That's kind of my logic. It's such a hard exercise. I don't meet a lot of people that can do standing ab wheels. Hence why I do them, okay? It's a simple exercise. You don't need some crazy circuit. I do literally 5 of these in between my deadlifts, and my core is probably my best muscle group on my body. Single leg variant, right? I do a Bulgarian split squat, no wraps, don't use straps for the Bulgarian split squats. Hold the dumbbells, work on that grip strength because it helps with your deadlift over time. But yeah, I just take dumbbells. I love hanging the dumbbells right there. I feel like it just feels better than like a Smith machine. A barbell, I feel like I just get like I'm not as balanced with the barbell, so I use those dumbbells. barbell row, just pick up the rows suck. Rows are the worst. They're also the best, but they suck. So you know, if you got to take your time. You got to take your time with all this. Take your time. Don't go crazy with the weight. You never sacrifice form for tempo, and you never sacrifice tempo for weight. Okay? Take your time, because you get hurt, you just set yourself back. You need to look at this as the goal. It's like the law of attraction. It's already yours. This is how I look at it. The body that I want, the weight that I'm gonna lift, the life that I'm gonna have is already mine. I just have to wait in this line and do the things that this line requires. That's it. I'm just waiting for my turn. I don't get jealous or envious of no one that already has what I want, because I'm gonna get it. It's already mine. I'm just waiting for my turn. As long as I don't get out of this line and do something stupid, like get hurt, so I have to get out of line, or get sent back in the line, or get distracted, whatever. It's already mine as long as I just stay on the path, stay on the course, okay? With these workouts, and then again, just to finish up, dumbbell seated overhead press, I superset that with a weighted chin-ups or even a neutral grip. It doesn't matter. And then I do curls and push down, same thing. Rest. Again, I do my cardio on those days, but you don't have to. And yeah, so progressive overloading, right? So I'm going to explain on the next slides. We're kind of wrapping up here, all right? So stay with me. On the next slides, I'm going to explain how to progressive overload. But what that is you're just bumping up in weight over time on those lifts. On your squat, your overhead press, your deadlift, your bench press. But understand this. If progressive overload worked that you just get to add 5 pounds every week to your lifts, then we would all be squatting 600 pounds and benching freaking 400 pounds. It's not realistic, okay? You're not going to put on 5 or even 2 pounds or 10, 5, 10, 2.5 pounds, whatever, every week to your main lifts, okay? So progressive overload, yes, is progressing in weight, but it also can be progressing in how that barbell or that weight feels in your hand, how it actually looks, the bar speed, the form, how it feels to you, okay? Own the weight before you move on, okay? Own that set of 225 on bench press before you move on. You don't have to go crazy and be like, super doing negative 5 counts on your bench press. That's not what I'm saying. But we don't want to just like drop the weight and have no sort of control over it and be pressing bars against our rib cage. We want to just control it. That's it. We want to look like, I recommend taking videos, not so you can post them all the time, although do what you will, but take videos so you can look at how you look. Like how that weight actually looks in your hands, so you could tell, like, okay, you know what? Next week, next workout, I think I'm gonna bump up the weight because it's feeling good in my hands and I feel like I'm ready for some more weight. So progressive overload can also be how it feels. It doesn't have to always be weight. In fact, a lot of the time, it's not gonna be more weight. That's how you get hurt. All right, so this is exactly what I just put up, like the same workout, so I'm not going to go into all of it again. I'm just going to explain the reps and sets. So for the first month that you do this program, for the main lifts, so again, squat, overhead press, deadlift, bench press, you're going to be doing 4 sets of 10, okay? I'll underline it. And you can please take screenshots of this so that you can have this workout yourself, or I'll put in the PowerPoint or the Google Doc in the description below. But 4 sets of 10 on those main lifts. Okay, so for the first month, so the first 4 weeks, you're doing 4 sets of 10 on that squat, 4 sets of 10 on that overhead press, 4 sets of 10 on that deadlift, and then 4 sets of 10 on that bench press. But the sets and reps are not going to change for your accessories, okay? I keep those the same the whole way. But the only thing that's changing is the reps, the sets and reps for the main lifts. That's what we want to prioritize. Whether you're trying to get stronger, bigger, health, whatever, build muscle. I've never met somebody who squats a bunch of weight and doesn't have muscular legs. It just doesn't happen. Okay, so that's what we want to focus on, those main lifts. Now, getting into week 5, all right, the only difference with week 5 is that you're doing 3 sets of 8 now, okay? 3 sets of 8 on the main lifts, all right? 3 sets of 8. That's it. That's the only thing that's changing. Then, week 6, the 6th week, you're doing 4 sets of 6, okay? This is kind of how you're going to be able to progressive overload over time and kind of even work both hypertrophy and strength at the same time. You're doing higher reps and kind of lower reps at the same time, all right? Throughout the course of the program, throughout the course of your lifting. This is supposed to be a 4. Okay, that's a 4. 4 sets of 6 on week 6. Now, week 7, you got 5 sets of 5. All right, this is that 7th week. All right, so pretty much what you're doing, right, is that first month, you're getting settled in. You're figuring out how much weight you can actually lift. You're figuring out if your form is good, what you really need to work on, where you're at as a lifter. That's what you're figuring out. Then that week, the 5th week, you're doing 3 sets of 8 on that 5th week. Okay, 3 sets of 8 on the main lifts. Then the 6th week, you're doing 4 sets of 6. 7th week, you're doing 5 sets of 5. Then you just keep repeating that. All right. So the 8th week, you just do 3 sets of 8. 9th week, you do 4 sets of 6. 10th week, you do 5 sets of 5. Repeat again. 11th week, you do 3 sets of 8. 12th week, you do 4 sets of 6, and so on and so forth. That's how you're gonna get a progressive overload. All right. Now, if you have questions or anything like that, leave comments down below, or you can go to my Instagram, TikTok, just DM me any questions that you have. If you feel like doing this, let me know. I will help you. You could send me, I want to see your videos. I want to actually make sure that you know what you're doing. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to step back, because if you just do this right, you will build the body that you want to build. You will improve, you will enhance your life in other areas besides just fitness. This helps you across the board. So if you need help, just hit me up. I will help you and I will guide you. Any questions that you got, I got you, brother or sister.